And welcome back to RacerTV.com as GNCC Live resumes here on a Saturday from ITP Powerline Park in St. Clairsville, Ohio for round 5 of the UTV battle in our AMSOIL GNCC Championship Series as the stage is set and GNCC racing action side-by-side style gets ready to get underway. We have got a host of teams and drivers ready to make things happen out there, and most importantly, championship on the line and a national championship team that may be about to see it all slip away. We're talking about 33 different teams in the XC1 modified class only today. Teams like the number 1, the Polaris National Guard with William and Tina Yoakley. The number 2, Team Jax Can-Am out of Jefferson, PA, Mouse Pratt and Daniel Badalian. The number 3 car, Big Country Power Sports out of Tompkinsville, Kentucky, John Yoakley and Jared McClure. Team Trials Olander on the Team 6 car, Frank Olander and Ernie Hoke. 1 minute, folks. We've also got Kyle Cheney and Chris Bithell on the Can-Am Cheney Racing Machine out of Pataskala on the number 8 car. ATV Parts Plus Can-Am out of Beckley, West Virginia, Brian Buchanan and Nick Stafford. The number 14, March Weston Racing out of Morgantown, West Virginia, Bill Patterson, along with Dean Patterson. Loud Racing out of Rochester, New York, Richard Curley and Christopher Murray. Roger Lewis, that's Charlie Rogers and Michael Lewis getting set to roll. We're less than 30 seconds away. JB Off-Road Racing Can-Am team of Tim Farr and Julie Farr. Yeah, you recognize that name. As we said, 33 teams in all. We'll try to get through those in just a few moments. But right now we turn our attention to turn number 1 where Ricky Towery readies these riders to get them set to go GNCC Racing in 10 seconds for row number 1 of our XC1 Modified. And on row number 1, Polaris National Guard, Big Country Power Sports, Can-Am Cheney Racing, JB Off-Road, that's Tim Farr, the 41, and the 808 of Polaris Coastal, and they're going to get the early lead. The 808 Polaris Coastal Racing. Row 2, Team Jax Can-Am, ATV Parts Plus Can-Am, Can-Am JB Racing 44, Crash Addicts, and DS Racing in 10 seconds. 13 rows in all ready to go here today. 33 teams in this XC1 class, and it's the number 2 car of Team Jax Can-Am. Ooh, maybe not. 33 of DS Racing in row 2. Row 3, Team Trials Olander, also James 46 gets the lead. Team Trials Olander, James Pearson, Matco Racing, Barnhart's Honda Polaris, and M&S Racing in less than 10 seconds now. And they're off. Row number 4 coming up next. Team FCR Mob Sticks, Fleming FCR Crash Addicts, M&S Racing and Racer Tech, Shriver's Drain Service, Snowcat Racing, and Zakowski Motorsports backed by Can-Am. Old Zach himself, Zach Zakowski, back with us once again and ready to roll in 10 seconds. And a tear into the first turn. It's the 70 car, I believe, of M&S Racing, Racer Tech. Oh, no, Zakowski's going to move out ahead, but can he hang on to it? So we go to row number 5 now. Loud Racing, Rogers and Lewis, Snap-on Racing, Luberg Racing, Team Name Unknown, and KR4591. That's driven by BP Big Pat McGuire. Less than 10 seconds to go now as the green flag waves on this one, and teams are off. It's the number 8 car moving to the front of the pack early on here, it looks like. Don't know who that is as we go to the number 6 row of March Weston with Loud Racing 47. We got Wells Service Group, Skull Crusher Off-Road, Game On, and Loud Racing 724. They got a lot of racing teams out there, the Loud team does. So thanks for being a big part of this, folks, as we turn our attention back to Ricky Towery. 10 seconds for row number 6. 724 of Loud Racing. Whoa, looked like they had a good jump, but man, that's going to be the 14, the 014 of March Weston Racing, snagging the early lead. Row 7, we got Jax Can-Am, Recon, Brockway Racing, Held Racing, and Team Force ready to roll on Ricky Towery's cue as he lets them know. 10 seconds. Row 7 off. The 406 car there doing quite well, it looks like. And again, different number on the sheets than what's signed up there. The number 8 row, looking at Michael Swift, also Travelina Racing, Tim's Towing, Extreme 8, Tech ATV, and Cabana Motorsports. 10 seconds. And they're off. See if we can snag the number on this one, and I'm seeing a 20-something. 20 was Travelina Racing. Let's go to row 9, though. 144 Racing, also Team Berkeley, Can-Am, Jax, Coastal S&J, and Jamie Ward. Less than 10 to go for these teams. And that's row 9 off. 221 car, Team Berkey. XC2 Limited, by the way, started out with row number 7, XC2 Limited. Row number 10 coming up next, Team Ransom, Modlin Racing, Barnes Racing, Powers Motorsports, and Wheaton Racing. Seconds for row 10. And they're off. The 429 car getting a good jump there. That is Powers Motorsports. Again, reminding folks, we are racing on time adjustment, so as much as anything, racing the clock as much as they're racing the competitors on the track as row 11 gets set to roll. One of the biggest icons in our sport, Mike Penland with Team Penland out there. Also, Send It Motorsports, Mitchell Motorsports, Indiana Quality, TCB Racing, and Can-Am Crash Addicts. Ready to roll on Ricky's cue, and he lets them know it's time to go in 10 seconds. Row number 11 is off and rolling now. Look at him go, folks. It's the 21 car. Team Penland, Mike Penland grabbing the early lead in this one. Watch him go, folks. Row 12, H&H Racing, TCB Racing, Handy Capable, also Smith Racing, Bigelow Motorsports, and Kimco Racing. Less than 10 seconds to go. And they're off. It's the 198 team. That's Handy Capable. Well, they're quite capable of pulling a hole shot. Are they capable of hanging on to it? We'll see. Row 13 coming up next, our final row. We got Cove Run Racing, Bigelow Motorsports, Crash Addict Racing, KR4555, and 3% Red. 10 seconds. So our final row readies itself to tackle the terrain of Eastern Ohio. Green flag waves on this one, and we are back to race status with Cove Run Racing pulling the early lead in this one. They round the first couple of turns. Believe it or not, all the cars stayed on all 4 wheels this time. Didn't turn one over this time. Normally we get to see a little action like that, but good clean start for everyone. Great race today. So as this one gets underway, going to be exciting to see how it all unfolds, especially with these types of conditions out there. We'll know more about how it ends coming up here in about an hour or so, as we'll be back with more GNCC Live on RacerTV.com right after this.
Any engine, any season, at home, at the track, or on the trail. AMSOIL for any engine.
What do you call a machine that combines precision engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Welcome to RacerTV.com and this running of the St. Clairsville UTV race. As you can tell with the gloves and the hat, it's been a very cold and blustery day here in southern Ohio, and we've been fighting rain and hail and sleet and even snow today as these racers have tackled the course 3 times already with ATVs, and we're on our final race today with the UTV running. As you just heard, Rodney Tomlin announce all the different rows in their starting positions. These guys are on the track right now. But as we take a minute and we get settled into this race, it's a good chance to remind you that it's been a few months. We've been on a break, on a summer break, and now these guys have been out testing and tuning and doing some local races, and they've come here to Southern Ohio ready to prove something. And for the first time this late in the season, we have a new leader emerging in our points running. Since the inception of UTV racing in 2008, it was the National Guard UTV of William Yoakley that commanded the lead most of the time in the points, and he's won every championship from that point. And here today, we've got Kyle Cheney in the points lead by 13 points over Scott Kiger. And so we've got some new leaders emerging. These guys have been working so hard and so ready to come here and prove something here in St. Clairsville, Ohio. And they're on the track right now. We're looking forward to our camera shots to bring us the latest and the greatest and the updated news. But our points running today was Cheney, Kiger, Tim Farr sitting in the third place position. Tim Farr was a former ATV Pro National guy who used to, just like William Yoakley, get off of his ATV, come run to the starting line, jump in his car, and take off and do this UTV thing. And now here we're getting a first look at the track. We've got the number 3 car in lead, and that would be John Yoakley, John Allen Yoakley, the nephew of the famed William Yoakley, in his National Guard, Coastal National Guard, Big Country Power Sports car, taking the corners and bringing it down the home stretch here to take the first lap flag. Looks like he is handling that machine quite well, I'd say. The drivers, as they were sitting around on the starting line talking about what they were expecting today, as we see the number 8 car in the second place there, Kyle Cheney, they were talking about how slick this track is. All the rain and the sleet and the mud that we were battling. Well, the ATVs really packed this track down and made it really slick. And the ATV guys came off the track at the end of that race and said that it became almost a slot car situation where they were able to just sit in a groove. And if they were going too fast, it was almost like there was a bumper to catch them and rake them around that corner. But these guys are actually, you can see on your camera screen here, on your TV screen, they're actually kicking up a little bit of a dust here. So these big 1,200 and 1,400-pound machines are able to dig down into that dirt and find every bit of traction that's available and put the power to the ground. And we've got a race going on here, folks. As we wait for our results to pop up, our camera is focused on the number 33 car here, and that would be Loud Racing. Richard Curley being the pilot of that. He actually got the whole shot in his row. I believe that was row number 2. So he's trying to work his way up in the time standings. As you know, this is a time-adjusted race. So just because there were 30 seconds between rows, that 30 seconds is credited to the drivers as they come through the finish line. And it's a beautiful fall day here in southern Ohio. Certainly on screen it is. We see green grass. We see some trees that are starting to turn color. But we're also seeing that there are a lot of leaves that are missing from the trees as high winds have pelted this area for the last 2 days that we've been here. And due to the high winds, this track has actually dried out fairly quick compared to all the rain that we've received in the last 24 hours. It rained all night here. We're currently checking out the oh, thanks. I've got some help here with Jen Kenyon. She knows how to work the computer and get us the latest and greatest and up-to-date stats. And she is on it. Welcome to St. Clairsville, Ohio, Jen Kenyon.
Thanks, Chuck. It's good to be here. You know, I believe I was probably supposed to be here a little bit earlier than I am now, but I was catching some great action at the start. And, of course, I was talking to some of the ATV guys about the race earlier, and it sounds like they had a pretty good track. They were actually very happy about the rain. They thought the track conditions were pretty good, so I can't imagine how much fun these side-by-sides are having out there.
Well, that's what we were talking about just a minute ago, that these guys were able to, the ATVs really pack things down and dried things up, and now these UTVs, these heavy machines are actually finding some powder out there in the corners and actually kicking up just a little bit of dust and finding the mud too.
Yeah, definitely. Now these machines obviously are a lot bigger, and the tires are bigger, and everything makes it a little bit easier for them to get around than some of the ATVs. And even tomorrow with the dirt bikes being the 2 wheels and a little bit thinner wheelbase there, I can't imagine that'll be as easy as it is. Or maybe these 4-wheel drive trucks that we're seeing out in the parking lot, those things might not be going anywhere for a while.
What you don't know from sitting at home is that half those guys are stuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It looks like they're all parked really nicely, but really they're stuck there.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that we were talking about. You know, if you're here at the race and you're looking at the pit area, it's muddy and it looks like, some of the vehicles are stuck, but that's actually the worst.
Yeah, as we fumble for our stats here. Oh, that's game on. That's Matt Rowell, game on, trying to put down some power to the ground and get around his competitor there and come up to the finish line and get some distance going on this hour-long race.
I think we've got some timing and scoring here, Chuck.
Hey, this is great.
All right, so it looks like our top 10 rundown we'll quickly go through. Travis Pointer in the first place position, John Yoakley in second. Now, these are just driver names. These aren't actually team names, but I believe
well, the 46, the Travis Pointer, that's the Crash Addicts car.
Addicts, that's right.
Yeah.
I knew it was something crash-related.
Crash Addicts, and John Yoakley, of course, that's our Big Country Power Sports. That's John Allen Yoakley, the Big Country Power Sports. Mouse Pratt in the number 3 position. That's our number 2 car of Team Jack's Can-Am, putting his car up there in the top 3. And then in the 4th place, who do we have 4th here?
Larry Hendershot. That's the Hendershot Performance Can-Am duo.
Can-Am JB Racing. That's
nope,
correct.
that's going to be that's Tim Farr. Okay, so we've got some. Yeah, so that says Larry Hendershot, but from Marietta, Ohio, I believe that's Tim Farr, the number 44 machine. So yeah, you've got the team name right. We've got the name wrong. All right, so that's the JB Racing Can-Am team. And then, all right, we're just a little bit confused. We've got all
We're
kinds
catching
of,
on. It's the first lap of a race. Everybody needs to settle into their groove.
We need to settle into
And
our
we'll
groove.
settle into the groove here in the announcer's tower. But just to give you the quick rundown here, in first place, Travis Pointer. Then there's John Yoakley in second. Third place is Malcolm Pratt. Fourth place, Larry Hendershot. Kyle Cheney in fifth place. Scott Kiger in the 808 car, who's second in points right now, is in the sixth place. He's got some work ahead of him. A newcomer, it looks like, Devin Steedley is in seventh place. William Yoakley, our number one car, is in eighth position. Bill Patterson is in ninth. And Tim Farr, it looks like, there he shows up. The number 41 car of Tim Farr is in the 10th place position, and that brings us our top 10 in the overall standings as of lap one.
Wow, Chuck, this is actually kind of interesting. Looking at the point spread in the XC1 modified class, Kyle Cheney, who's in the fifth place position right now, he's currently leading the points. He's won the last 2 rounds there with his, if his co-pilot is still the same as it's been all season, Chris Bithell, our XC1 Pro ATV racer, he's usually in that passenger seat.
Which indeed today he is. He came right off the track, jumped into a
Wow.
fire suit, and was shivering on the starting line in his fire suit.
That explains a lot. I went over to ask him what happened today in his race. I know he got together with another rider out there and wanted to see kind of his side of the story and things. But yes, I forgot that he's definitely riding co-pilot there with the points leader. So I'm sure that's an interesting. I would love to have a GoPro view of what's going on in that car right now, especially being in fifth place.
Right. Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of screaming and yelling going on, knowing there's a championship on the line here.
Yeah, of course. And, like we said, William Yoakley, defending champion, he's currently in the 8th place position. He's had a little bit of bad luck this season as far as the points goes. It looks like he's
down in 5th. He's tied
Yeah.
actually with his nephew. They're both tied at 63 points in the 5th place position. And both of these guys were early contenders. We had high hopes for both. And it's not over until it's over. But both of these guys are not where they want to be. And we're currently seeing Kyle Cheney up there in their number one place, the 808 of Scott Kiger.
Yes, yep. He's holding it down for Polaris right now, for sure.
Definitely. He's giving it. He's putting that 1,000cc machine to the task right now and making it go fast. And actually, he's having a very good showing. But he is 13 points behind first place position in the point standing right now. And in the XC1 race, every race counts.
Yeah. That's the important thing right now. Is I think in the past they've had some drops or.
In the past, there's usually out of 6 races, there's 1 drop, and in the XC2 and XC3 classes, that is still true. But the XC1, which would denote a professional series class, there are no drops.
Yeah. So wow, that's that's the big guns, and we're looking at the point standings right here. John Yoakley, the Big Country Power Sports, he came out, he got that first win of the season, but he's had a DNF this year, so that's kind of put him down in the points a little bit. And those are the things that really hurt you when you have every single race counts. You have to put in good, solid championship points rides every single time.
What's interesting is that all these guys in the top 5, each one of them have had at least one bad race. Tim Farr in number 3 position, he got a 17th place in the second race. And so every single one of these guys have had 17th or DNF or something that's really put them back, and it's kept our point standings constantly shifting around and getting changed up, and it's really made for an exciting UTV year.
Yeah, which, I always say this, the racers may not like some of the excitement that we see, but as a fan and a spectator, it sure is fun to watch. And looks like we have some bad luck from a car there. Driver and passenger already out of the car. Doesn't look like that thing's moving anytime soon.
Apparently not. We're just going to walk away and leave her sit. Welcome to UTV racing. Unfortunately, this is very common. What you don't see on screen is that there are several tow trucks, basically,
Yes.
that are busy all race long. A lot of these guys don't even get a single lap in before they tag a tree, break a tie rod end, and
yeah, but he's running. That may mean he's going to run back, get some tools, and try to fix that thing.
it's entirely possible. Never quit, never surrender. That is the racer's motto. I don't care what you're racing, whether it's go-kart, UTVs, dirt bikes, or whatever. If it's GNCC, for sure, never quit.
Absolutely. We saw that earlier just a little bit ago with Adam McGill. He said he started off, he was a little bit further back than he'd like to be on the first lap. Then he had a major get-off out there and set him back all the way to the back of the pack, and then he just was like, all right, I'm going to get this done. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep on moving, keep on going, and he made his way up to the podium. So That's the kind of stuff that you always have to keep in the back of your mind, like, hey, what would happen if I didn't give up this race?
Exactly.
You
We
know,
just
Cody?
saw the triple nickel come through there. That's what he refers to his own car. That's I believe his name is Robert, and he leases that car from KR4. You can the Arrive and Ride crew of KR4. You can actually rent one of these machines and go out here and put it to the test and put yourself to the test and enjoy every bit of this track just as much as anybody else that is out there.
Yeah, that's for sure, Chuck. Well, as we continue to make our way through the first lap here in the side-by-side racing, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com.
Your coolant. One of the most important things is almost always overlooked. Evans Coolant is the first coolant to be 100% waterless. What does this mean? It means a higher boiling point to keep your bike running cooler. No hot spots, corrosion, or buildup on your engine to eliminate excess wear and tear, to save you money, and to make your engine run longer at peak performance. For more information, visit our new website, evanschooling.com.
Find your flow with Maxxis tires.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
GNCC Live as we bring to you now here from the ITP Powerline Park, GNCC in St. Clairsville, Ohio. UTV, a.k.a. Side-by-Side Racing. Rodney Tomlin now along with Chuck LeMaster. Thanks a lot, Jen Kenyon, for sitting in once again and giving us all that great knowledge of racing and all the behind-the-scenes stuff. And good job, Chuck LeMaster, as well, taking the helm all by himself there for a little bit, I understand, while I was making my way back from the start there. But right now, as we join the action, John Yoakley has checked in with 2 laps complete now, and so far, with the physical overall lead, Kyle Cheney now moving up to the number 2 spot. I believe that is your actual points leader heading into this 5th round of racing. Mouse Pratt, the number 2 car driver, is running in 3rd. Larry Hendershot, the 44 car, in 4th. And Scott Kiger, the 808 car, back in the number 5 spot. William Yoakley now checking in 6th place. He is the defending national champion in this UTV class. And looking at results, has had a lackluster 2014 and is hoping to turn things around in these final 2 rounds of UTV racing in the GNCCs there, Chuck. And I know with 2 rounds to go and looking at those points right now, it's a virtual who's who and what's what, and who knows what's going to take place, and could really turn this thing on its ear over the course of this and the next round.
Well, as you've already seen, Travis Pointer still hasn't checked in. He was our early leader. Lap 1, Travis Pointer came through in 1st place, and we still haven't seen him check in yet. So anything is possible. In UTV racing, the thing is to drive smart and to drive fast. It's one thing to drive fast, but to not drive smart, you're not going to finish the race. So, and to drive smart without driving fast isn't going to do any good either. So.
I'll tell you what, I like UTV racing. It brings out the pretty women. Ain't no doubt about that.
The folks at home will understand what you were talking about.
Yeah, those that are walking around the pits have no clue, but we just had a shot of a very beautiful young lady there at the finish line watching the racing action. Of course, her husband's probably going to come over and beat me up here in a minute, but that's all right. I'll take it. Anyway, as we roll through this one, 27, almost 28 minutes into this race now as John Yoakley continues to lead on this one. We've only got 8 cars in with 2 laps complete, and there comes Tim Farr checking in now. Farr is another team that has had his hat in the bid for the championship here, as there's several teams that have had their hat in the bid for the championship here, Chuck, and I think he's dropped back to about 4th place in the points race right now, but I think depending on how things go, we could see him back up there in at least contention by the end of this race if things go well for him.
Out of the top 5, Tim Farr is sitting number 3 in points, and he's the only driver to not have won a race yet this year and still be in 3rd place.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So that's consistency right there.
Which is going to pay a lot. Any championship always takes consistency, and yet all of these guys have had a race this season where something was off. I mean, even Tim had a 17th place and is still sitting in 3rd place. John Yoakley, our current leader right now, he's tied with his uncle William for 5th place in points, and he had a DNF earlier in the season. And so with UTV racing, these guys have to put it all on the line these last 2 races. We have today's race, and in 3 weeks we go to Crawfordsville, Indiana, and we attack the Ironman Hills. And that's where the championship is ultimately going to be decided. But these guys today are racing as if the championship were on the line because they have to get all the points they can possibly get.
They got to race the best they can and hope for the best to go on behind them right now. So we're watching the Project 591 car, Big Pat McGuire out there making those final few turns, heading toward the finish line. Right now we'll see where he ends up on adjusted time. And as he checks in, he's the 13th team to check in, 13th driver so far on this lap to check in. But as far as overalls are concerned, he's 11th. So time adjustments has moved him up a little bit in the standings. And one thing about a lot of these teams, don't count them out just because they're a little far back in the early part of this race. It amazes me sometimes, Chuck, just how quickly the field can turn around.
Oh, that's so true with UTV racing. There, it looks like we've got a driver coming in and something hanging off that rear wheel. Might even be the wheel itself.
That's what I'm wondering. What is that coming out of that tire like that? But it doesn't look flat.
Typically, these guys are running Tire Balls, and Tire Balls pretty much owns the anti-flat tire market in the UTV world. We're not really sure what that guy was doing, but he was still going.
He's still going. There he is at the finish line. That is actually Wade Dipple, the 724 car out of Summersville, West Virginia. He's XC1 modified class driver, and the 724 car is actually 14th in the XC1 modified class. 33 teams in that XC1 modified class today, Chuck. That's a pretty big class as far as UTVs, these side-by-sides are concerned. You know, you think numbers a lot of times whenever you think about races, but whenever you get to these kind of machineries and these kind of machines and this kind of racing, ultimately, sometimes probably the better racing happens when there's not as many drivers on the course at one time.
Oh, for sure. You get a field of 10 guys where all 10 guys are competitive, and it's a race.
Yeah.
You get 33 guys, and sometimes they get so spread out that the race is still within the top 10. But never discount these guys that are starting on row 7 and row 8 because
never.
With time adjustment, anything's possible. But the trick is, with time adjustment, the farther the row back, the more people you're going to have to pass to find clear air in order to go as fast as your skills will allow you to go. So those guys on row 1 and even row 2 have what we call clear air, and they're able to put the pedal to the metal and get some time behind them before the race really settles in.
Some skills to pay the bills.
That's it. You know, as I'm noticing as we're watching this TV angle here and we're watching the track, we're seeing more and more dust kick up, but we're also seeing a lot more holes develop.
Square edges too, rough.
Exactly. The ATVs, an ATV will weigh about 400 pounds, and it'll tear up the track. But today the track was so hard packed, and it turned into almost a sheen across it. It was so hard packed. These things weigh 1,200 and 1,400 pounds.
Wow.
And they're starting to really dig into the corners there. So we're getting some braking bumps, we're getting some square edge, and this is where car setup is really going to come into play to be able to go through those things, almost like a supercross where you get those big whoops, and these cars have to be set up just right in order to attack these corners. And you'll see some of these guys aren't set up right, and you'll see them blow over the berm, and they get out there in the loose stuff, and they lose traction, and they lose time.
Now, what are some of the big adjustments that teams make on these? I would, for one, would think that obviously suspension would probably be one of the key components in driving one of these cars.
Well, after you get your reliability dialed in and putting tire balls in and getting your motor so that you're not going to blow it up, get the most power out of your motor without blowing up, then absolutely you have to work on suspension. And you can spend days and days. And William Yoakley has always been the king of dialing in his suspension. And he taught himself how to pull his shocks apart and how to revalve his shocks and change the oil and do everything himself. And he used to go out there and just spend weeks at a time testing suspension, and he would come out here and he would dominate.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody's learned his secrets. I got to do suspension. So we've got a lot of cars out here that can really handle.
He definitely had an edge on the field there for a while. There's no doubt about it. As we continue to roll through 2 laps down, working on lap 3. Leaders due in about a little over 3 minutes now. About 34 minutes now into the race. John Yoakley leading Kyle Cheney at the end of 2 with Mouse Pratt, the number 2 car, in 3rd. Larry Hendershot running 4th. Scott Kiger was 5th. William Yoakley, the number 1 car and defending champion, back in 6th. Devin Steedley is 7th. Tim Farr, the 41, in 8th. Bill Patterson, the 14 car, is 9th. And Sean Bogdan, the 421 car we saw checking in there just a few moments ago, actually leading the XC2 limited class, and he's 10th overall right now. 10th in the XC1 modified class is Zach Zakowski. But good to see those XC2 limited riders starting to press the envelope a little bit and break into the top 10. Bogdan is the first one to do that out of Rice's Landing, PA.
You know, it's interesting that that's really saying something to be able to break into the top 10 because these guys started, I think XC2 started on row 8. If I'm not mistaken, and that's a lot of cars to have to pass. Out of 33 cars that you have to pass, at least 23 of them in order to get up into the top 10. Maybe not quite 23 based on time adjustment, but almost. At least 20 cars you have to get by before you've got enough air to get up there in the top 10 overall. So congratulations to him. I think that's an accomplishment to be proud of.
Yeah, for sure. And man, wonder what's going on here. This team coming in a little bit on the sluggish side.
That appears to be Vicky Fowler.
Is that Vicky? That's
Team 3% red.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's worth noting that her son just won the overall in the ATV race. And she's had a ball this year going out here and doing some racing herself. It appears, though, that she's having a little bit of trouble, some sort of technical difficulty. Haven't really been able to figure it out just by looking at the TV angle here. But sure is good to see her out there having some fun and doing some racing herself.
No doubt. I mean, you gotta break up the monotony somewhere. She's been a racing mom since the kid was 4 years old, 21 years old. 17 years she's been a racing mom. She spent 16 of that race being a racing mom. Then she became a racer mom herself.
Yeah.
Hey, you like a racer mom? Racing mom? It's all same word, just a little different play on it, huh?
We call her Vicky the Quick Change Fowler because it was like 10 minutes. She was in all Yamaha blue at the podium celebrating with her son, and then she had to haul the trophy and the champagne bottle and all that stuff back up to her truck. And next thing you know, she's in a fire suit and in her Razor.
Spending as much time backing up as she is going forward.
I think she's being very conscious that she's got a problem and she's not going to ruin anybody's race.
Yeah, and I think, too, that almost looks like a steering issue because it looks like her right or left-hand turns aren't happening so well.
I think you're right. I have, being a former UTV racer myself, I've been in that situation where the car would only turn one direction and there was definitely a lot of backing up. But
that's exactly what it is.
Yep. Good job, Vicky, figuring it out. At least get the lap in and get a couple points.
Pretty impressive. I mean, she had to look at that. If you're not watching on TV, folks, and you're here at the track, Vicky has spent the last 5 minutes in trying to get through, what I heard him call Amsoil Alley out there, the chicane system coming in to the final turns of the to the finish line there. And she has been fighting that machine. So you got to say kudos to her and hats off. And
well, there goes a banner.
Yeah, the track
crew's. But you do
not,
what you got to do,
yeah,
right?
but the track crew's not going to like her so well. She just wiped out that whole section of Amsoil Manor.
It's right behind us. I hope she didn't get the trailer.
Yeah, if we get a big thump on the trailer, we know what's going on. There's the 955 car now.
That's Robert Vandemark, the triple nickel KR4 machine that we mentioned earlier, where you can actually rent one of these machines and go out here and join the fun.
No, man, don't get me started on that again. That's crazy. I just cannot believe the opportunity that is afforded to people.
2 cards out.
To be able to do that. So 2 laps
and
to go.
there's
That must
Cheney.
be leaders.
Yep, that's Cheney all over the triple, and number 3 all over him. We've got a bumper-to-bumper race. Big Country Power Sports' John Yoakley has relinquished the lead to Kyle Cheney.
Wow. So
Rodney, we have a race going on here.
Yeah, they're flip-flopping back and forth here, and if they're going tit for tat, then that means that Yoakley should have the lead at the end of the next lap. And then at the checker flag, that means Cheney will have the lead.
Cheney will be back because we got the 2 card.
Yeah. And that should probably come close to securing the national title, as Cheney is actually the current points leader heading into this final round in the 417 car. Now, he had a horrible first round, 20th place, if I'm not mistaken, is where he finished in the first round. Took a second, backed that up. Now, you talk about turning things around. That's pretty impressive, but even more impressive, he backed it up with 2 straight wins after that to position himself. And that's one thing that I've heard
Larry
about.
Hendershot and Scott Kiger are fighting.
Oh, that's Kiger there, isn't it?
Oh, and number 2's in there, too. The Team Jacks Can-Am of Mouse Pratt. We got a 3-way battle for 3rd place here.
Now, time adjustments about to be, right now on adjustments, William Yoakley right now is actually physically 3rd on the racetrack. Time adjustments may tell a little bit different story now as these guys start to check in now. And at the end of lap 3, here's the way it's breaking down. My gosh, man, look at the changes. Kyle Cheney leading. John Yoakley is now 2nd place. Overall, 1.9 seconds behind Cheney, but more importantly, I think what's is exciting is the fact that William Yoakley has moved into 3rd place position. The only downfall to that for William at the moment is the fact that there's a 41-second gap between himself and John Yoakley.
Absolutely.
So that is a large gap.
That's a large gap in 2 laps with a lot of traffic. We've got 70 cars out here, I think, and so there's going to be a lot of traffic on this track.
Wow.
But nonetheless, we've seen William running around in 6th place all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, he didn't just lay down and give up.
No,
He's
he
been
must
out there
have heard
fighting.
us talking about him. He didn't want to be talked down about like that. He was like, I'm going to give these guys some excitement here, and that's what he's done.
But that shuffled, look at that. Scott Kiger, the 808 car, has shuffled all the way back to Williams' old spot of 6th place.
Pratt goes from 3rd to 5th. Now Larry Hendershot holding steady in that 4th place region there aboard the 44 car. Tim Farr up a spot to 7th now as Devin Steedley runs in the number 8 spot. Bill Patterson driving the 14 car in 9th. And Sean Bogdan will be looking for him in the XC2 Limited class to check in
See
again.
if he can maintain that 10th place position overall.
Or maybe even get a little better there. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, looking at these lap times, Chuck, what an amazing lap time. Look at Kyle Cheney's 12:26.8. Might as well say a 12:27. That is a full 20 seconds faster than John Yoakley, as well as a full 20 seconds faster than William Yoakley. Both those teams turning nearly identical lap times. Both the Yoakleys only 0.3 of a second difference in their lap time there, but Kyle Cheney a full 20 seconds faster. That's what wins races.
Absolutely, and he was actually trailing John Yoakley the last 2 laps. And so I don't remember exactly what the gap was, but obviously he made up that gap and then some to make the pass. And we saw John Yoakley right on his bumper at the finish line as they came through and they began their 4th lap. So these next 2 laps are surely going to be exciting.
So Cheney, Yoakley, Hendershot, Pratt, your top 5. Kiger, Farr, Steedley is 6, 7, and 8 right now, and we're waiting still on the 8th, 9th, and 10th place rides. And I got to wonder, looking at lap times here, I know last time around Sean Bogdan turned a 13:41. That was about 8 seconds faster, I believe, than the riders ahead of him. So XC2 Limited driver 421 Sean Bogdan could I think on time, looking at lap times there, could possibly be a little further up in the ranks whenever he comes around for lap number 3 complete. As far as elapsed time was concerned, he was some 20, let's see.
He's due.
Wow, he was only about 6 seconds behind Bill Patterson for 9th place overall. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Bogdan is possibly 9th, maybe even as far up as an 8th place position.
8th place, as we still wait on these drivers to check in. It looks like our 8th place is checked in with Devin Steedley. We're waiting on Bill Patterson. So the Bill Patterson, Sean Bogdan.
So as we work on lap number 3 right here, this will be with 2 laps. That means it'll be a 5-lap race. We basically hit the halfway point of this race, Chuck Lamaster, and it's that time. You know what time it is, don't you?
Oh, I do.
What time is it?
I believe
it's Mid-State Chevy Midway Report time.
There you go.
Brought to you by your friends at Mid-State Chevrolet, where they stack them deep and they sell them cheap, and the home of the GNCC Racing Nation's place to buy trucks, no doubt about it. Just let them know who you are, where you come from, and you'll get not only a good stack them deep, sell them cheap deal, but you'll get a good family deal, GNCC Nation family deal. So check them out. They're located down there in Flatwoods, West Virginia, in the heart of West Virginia, right off of I-79. Right now, as we take a look at this halfway point for these riders and drivers and teams, we've got 3 laps down for our top 10 now. And
what happened? Sean Bogdan hasn't checked in yet, so he is losing positions.
Yeah, well, I still got faith in him, Eric.
All right.
Kyle Cheney, John Yoakley, William Yoakley, Larry Hendershot, Mouse Pratt, your top 5 in the XC1 Modified. Then it's Scott Kiger, Tim Farr, Devin Steedley, Bill Patterson in 9th, and Albert McCoy rounding out the top 10. We'll be back to check with the XC2 limited class in just a moment with as far as 3 laps are concerned, but after 2 laps and due in a minute. He's not even late yet, so no need to be alarmed. Sean Bogdan, Marcus Pratt running in the number 2 spot, Joe Kreselich running in the number 3 spot. Now that's a unfamiliar territory for him. Normally we're used to seeing him up front of the pack battling for an overall, actually.
Right.
John Henry, the number 13 car, running in 4th. He was a steel driving man, if you didn't know. Michael Swift, the number 12, who raced in the 4x4 Pro class earlier this morning, running in 5th. Rich Travelina, the number 20, at 6th. Mike Jenkins running 7th aboard the 711. The 15, Chris Brockway, running in 8th. Brian Rigg, 9th aboard the 685. And it's Seth Mitchell, the 54 car, rounding out the top 10. XC3 Lights, John Howard, the 27 car from Fredericksburg, Virginia. 2 laps down, has got a 31-second lead over Clint Zentner, the number 198. Johnny Smith running in the number 3 spot. 4th place is Tim Dennison, and Kimco Racing rounds out the top 5 in the XC3 Lights class. We got novice limited class. Blake McDaniel leading out of Sardis, Ohio. Robert Vandemark running number 2 spot with Troy Bigelow in 3rd, and Vicky Fowler trying. That was her first lap, unfortunately, but she made it. She made it. She finished up
29 minutes.
Number 4 spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Robert Vandemark, he's gotten a couple mentions. He's actually running around in 2nd place right now.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he might be the novice class limited points leader.
He
is. Actually, he's got 3 wins. He finished 2nd his first round. He won the last 3 rounds, and he's got only an 8-point lead over 3% red, Vicky Fowler.
Yep.
So this is going to be a big break for him in that championship points race. Although I do believe they have a drop or 2, so that might help out Vicky in that department.
Yep, this will definitely be her drop. We were talking about that with Jen Kenyon, actually, that these classes actually get a drop.
Yeah.
But the UTV series is 6 races long, and for XC1, they don't get a drop. So every race counts.
So the XC1, it's all. Well, that's good to know, because I didn't even realize
it's a pro-level class, XC1. So everything counts for these guys. That's why you're seeing them push the limits, and we're gonna see some interesting stuff here in about 5 minutes when our leaders come through, and we'll see who's holding down the first place overall, whether it's Kyle Cheney or is it going to be John Yoakley?
I don't know. And by the way, I do want to say thanks to our friends at Mid-State Chevrolet for bringing the Mid-State Chevrolet report. Again, Blake McDaniel, Robert Vanderkirk, Troy Bigelow, and Vicky Fowler is your novice limited. That'll wrap up that. The overall after 3, again, Kyle Cheney, John Yoakley, William Yoakley, Larry Hendershot, Mouse Pratt, due in about 3 minutes for lap 4 complete, and a white flag for whomever our leader would be. But like I said, if we're going tit for tat here, John Yoakley should be up front. Let's see if that works out that way or not. I doubt it will, because I know Kyle Chaney's on a mission right now.
He's on a mission, and these tracks, as good as they're, and you know what, the track crew has come learning what UTV racing is all about. The track crew has progressed just as far as the drivers have progressed. And our tracks are so good these days, and they're fast, and they're safer than they were in the early days, but it's still very difficult to pass on this track.
It is, and it's got to be one of the more brutal and excruciating forms of side-by-side racing. I realize there's a lot of closed course competition where you have this and you have that, but whenever you go out over a 3 to 5 mile course and varied terrain from uphills, and you've got a lot of things to remember. I mean, it's not only gets to be a physically demanding aspect of it, because I mean, you're driving, you're hanging on, you're hitting hard bumps, and you're taking a lot of shots out there in those machines, so it's going to wear you out a little bit, I think, especially at those high speeds and stuff. You don't have time to memorize the track, so to speak, because it's not a 30 or 40 second lap time. You're looking at in this case, a 13-minute lap time. So over the course of 13 minutes, there's things that you forget from lap to lap, and a lot of changes that take place in the meantime.
The course changes, and
I mean, it's almost like you're driving a new course every lap. So there's another added feature of stress level to add to these guys right here. So I mean, there's a lot of variables there.
Another thing that happens on this, particularly with the UTV race, is that about a third of these things break down. If they tag a tree, they break down. So these, especially the top 5 guys, will walk the course the day before or the day of. They'll figure out their lines. All right, here's a place where I can pass, and there's a really high chance that they're going to come through there and say, okay, here's my, oh no, it's blocked. Somebody's broke down. Somebody took my line.
It changes so fast. You know as well as I do. I mean, like you said, one lap to the next, it can drastically change. I know, being out there myself, I can recall a time when we were going and the track went this way, and last time around there was nothing, no other trails, alternate lines or anything like that. The next time we came through the very same section of course, there was a highway. A new highway had been constructed, it looked like, because somebody had found a new line and everybody was using it. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a bad line, but that one, under that circumstance, happened to be a good one.
But these things change. I mean, the line that got you through the mud hole the last lap, you might bottom out on and get stuck this lap. So
exactly.
Your driver has to really be paying attention, and this is where some experience from the navigator can pay off. And as you look down through the entries today, you'll see that there are a lot of familiar names like Braden Henthorne and Chris Bithell, and some of our ATV guys are out there. Jared McClure's out there as a navigator, and so a lot of these ATV pro guys are out there. Lane Michael is in the car right now. This is his first experience where he's riding with Kyle Chaney. Yeah. And Lane Michael, he is a XC2 bike competitor, and we haven't seen him since the summer break because of an injury, but he said that he's back for tomorrow, and he's getting a first look at the track from the passenger seat. And talking to him, he said he was more nervous about the race today than he's going to be about his bike race tomorrow.
I understand. I feel his pain.
There's white flag.
Yeah, white flag is out, and our leader is Kyle Chaney. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Yep, but John Yoakley is not far behind.
Nope, 3.5 seconds exactly behind is what he is.
He's got him in sight. He's got him in sight, but if he's going to do something, he's got to do it this lap.
All right, 12:47 lap time was what William Yoakley turned last time. This time, these guys turn in the 12:32s. They turned 12:20s last time, so they slowed down a little bit.
Chaney turned to 12:20, but John Yoakley had a 12:47 last lap and has picked it up to 12:33. Following Kyle Chaney, he's had to attach himself to that bumper and just go for the ride, it looks like.
Wow, that's a very good point, Chuck LeMaster, as John Yoakley has closed that gap up. You're right, it was a 12:47 lap time. He and Uncle William turning nearly identical lap times, only 0.3 of a second difference. 12:33 this time, 0.8 for Yoakley, so he's obviously picked up his pace and pulled it within 3.5 seconds. That's pretty impressive stuff right there, and that all of a sudden begins to make John Yoakley maybe a possible player in this once more. Not only a winner today, but he might mix up the championship
might keep that championship hope alive.
Yeah, he's got one win, but one DNF is what's going to keep him, I think, out of the championship circle.
All right, we're looking at the triple nickel yet again, but we are waiting on the number 1 car of William Yoakley to come around. He was 40 seconds
He's already
behind.
made it in.
Oh, he did.
25
Good.
seconds down now.
Okay.
Lap time 12:17.
Oh, my goodness. That's the fastest lap we've seen this race.
It most certainly
by
is.
our current champion, William Yoakley, a 12:17.
Wow.
He is finding now. I don't know if he can close up a 25-second differential and pass 2 guys all in 1 lap, but if anybody can do it.
Here come the variables that we always talk about at this juncture in the race there, Chuck LeMaster, and I know that Johnny Gallagher always points it out. I know that Fred Andrews always points it out. This late in the race, the war of attrition is being lost by a lot of these guys. We're seeing the machines break down. We're seeing mistakes out on the trail. What that oftentimes can do is clog the trail itself, cause bottlenecks, slow other drivers down that might be in the lead. You might get in a tight section and can't get around. They'll slow you down, and how quickly can 15 seconds, 20 seconds be made up at that point? Then pretty fast. And, oftentimes you wonder, well, how did so-and-so make up 30 seconds on this guy? Well, it's easy in this style of racing. It's a mud hole, get stuck, nail a tree, get stuck against it for a few seconds, whatever the case may be. So many variables out there that it's never out of the realm of possibility to lose or gain minutes even sometimes.
Sometimes, and the longer the course is, the more likely that scenario can be because there are more obstacles. And, of course, the shorter the course is, the more lap traffic you have.
Yep.
And we always refer to lappers, and it's not a negative thing. It's just there's a lot of vehicles
what
out
do you
there.
mean, man? I think lappers are the dirt of society. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, if I was out there driving or riding, I would be a lapper.
We've all been there.
No, the lappers. You're right. It's just, and it's just another added obstacle out there, and I think that's the flavor. I think that's a lot of the appeal for a lot of these guys in this style of racing too, because of those so many unknown variables. You're racing man, you're racing machine, you're racing elements, you're racing terrain. I mean, you name it, you're racing. You're up against it basically.
Yeah,
everything.
That is exactly what cross country racing is all about. And when you talk to people that don't do this kind of sport, you say cross country, and they think you're running a foot race. It's nothing like that. And this is a grueling. This'll make you tough.
It does. And I'll tell you right now, riding in the passenger seat of one of those UTVs is one of the most rough places that you could ever ride in your life. I literally thought my sternum was separating when I was riding in that thing, man.
You rode with Hendershot, didn't you?
Yeah, Larry Hendershot.
Yeah.
I rode with you. It was
was
muddy
years
and
ago,
soft,
though.
and we rode it at Mountain Ridge, as a matter of fact.
I believe
we
it
were
was
a couple of weeks ago, but that was not nearly as rough as what that was.
No,
it was muddy then, though. White flag is out in this one, if you didn't know. We are 54 minutes into the race. Kyle Chaney leading John Yoakley. William Yoakley pulling to within 25 seconds, turning a 15-second faster lap than the rest of the field out there. So if he does that and he gets that break with the lap traffic or something, or a miscue out there, William Yoakley could very easily and quite possibly come around and away with a win here today, which would definitely swing some momentum in his favor, and might not put him in, like we said, in running for the national championship, but it would certainly look a lot better and feel a lot better. I mean, Williams got a 10th place finish in round 1. He came back to win round 2, 20th in round 3, and 3rd in round 4.
And his wife told him to win today.
Oh, did she? Well, Tina's co-pilot, so I'm sure she's reminding him of that
That's
every
right.
time around. And there's another unique and great thing about GNCC racing. It's a family-oriented sport, and even more so unique in UTV racing is the fact that we see some father-son teams, some father-daughter teams, some husband-wife teams, some wife and daughter teams. I mean, it's a pretty unique situation as far as racing is concerned, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. This sport really brings out. This is a unique form of GNCC racing. It is. It has come such a long way since it began in 2007, but it has truly become a family environment.
I remember the first time we waved the green flag on these, Chuck, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. We did not do the waves. We put them all in one row. So there was like a row of like 20 XC, which I'm not sure what they were called then. It was a different classification, but there were like 20-some UTVs barreling into that first turn.
All from a dead engine start.
Man. It was it was, to say the least,
oh,
scary.
You think you were scared? I can't imagine Carrie Joe.
I think I might have actually been a little more scared than she was. Of course, I was on the start. She wasn't. I went and relayed the information back to her. You aren't going to believe what just happened.
Yeah.
But, with that, I mean, that was a whole new form of racing. It was a whole new form and an idea of GNCC. Learning curves. And growing pains.
You had a different perspective because I was one of the drivers in those early days, and I figured I had a roll cage around me. I didn't care.
I was thinking about it from a standpoint of spectator safety as much as anything, man. I mean, you get that many cars together, banging through that first turn, and obviously there was some concessions made, and I like this because I mean you don't even have to win physically to win the overall in this, and it keeps the guessing game going throughout the entire race, right down to the checkers. And
there's certainly been a lot of progression because after those early days of 20 guys on the line all at once charging, then we did live engine starts in waves 10 seconds apart, and now we're back to the dead engine start in waves 30 seconds apart.
Yeah.
And we're getting better every year, figuring things out. And boy, the drivers get faster, the cars get better, the tracks get better.
Hey, man, I bet you if you look back at NASCAR or any other form of racing, it's totally different than it was in its first inception.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of things have come a long way.
But the one thing that's always in common is who can get to that checkered flag first.
Yeah, the winner.
That's it. And that's why we do it. We're here to win.
Who's going to be the winner today?
Whatever the rules are, I'll abide by them. I'll put my fire suit on, fire extinguisher, I'll put my head sock on. I'll do all that. I just want to win.
Yeah. And wow, and it's true. I mean, there's a lot that go to. I mean, you don't just go buy one of these on the showroom floor. This is one of those forms of racing in GNCC. All other forms of GNCC, Chuck, are the types that basically you go to the showroom, pick it up. An ATV, for instance, you might have to stick a kill switch on it or a tether cord on it, but that's the only modification addition that you need to make. That's required. And I mean, you can do more, but I mean, you can literally come and bring those and race them. Now, on the other hand, the UTVs are a little different game. I mean, there's obviously you need the kill switches and things like that. We have a lot of different scenarios to look at in the respect of the UTVs. We are about 3 minutes and 20 seconds or so from what we expect to be a checker flag for Kyle Chaney at this point, with John Yoakley still in tow and William Yoakley back in the number 3 spot. But again, I'm not sure exactly where we are standing with those guys. Haven't gotten any track updates or anything, so we could have a whole different show when these guys come rounding the final turns through Amsoil Alley here in a few minutes. 59.5 minutes in a scheduled near 1 hour race. So we're going to be right on target. Only about an hour and 2 minutes or so is what will most likely be elapsed when the winners come around for the checker flag here in just a few moments.
You know, we got distracted talking about all this racing and all this cool stuff, but to bring back an old conversation, the number 9 position right now is being held down by our XC2 Limited leader, Sean Bogdan.
So
you were right. He did move up.
He did. And I expected that. I thought maybe up to an 8th place position, but while looking at this right now, actually Sean isn't even leading his class. He is behind, get this, Marcus Pratt, the number 4 car, 55 seconds behind Marcus Pratt, and Bogdan is actually leading the position on adjusted time. That's crazy.
Wow, that is crazy. He's not.
That's what
he started from a row farther behind.
Actually, about 3 rows back, the way it looks, or at least 2 rows or so that he did. So, with 30 seconds apart in between him. So, I mean, wow. I mean, that's the kind of excitement that we're talking about. Oh, Miles Pratt thinks, man, I got this dialed in.
Does,
I'm leading the XC2 Limited. I'm up in the top 10 overall right now, but he doesn't know that Sean Bogdan is
behind him,
beating him,
stalking him,
and beating him at the same time. I love that element in GNCC, the surprise. I mean, you wait till the very last moment. I mean, like tomorrow when the bikes go, we'll be waiting to see whether or not, especially now that Caleb's riding that 150 tomorrow, whether or not the young Grant Baylor is going to be able to be the first ever 2-wheel racer to take an overall from the XC2 Pro Lights.
Never been done on 2 wheels.
It has not been done, but the likelihood has increased with Caleb moving on to the 150 for the final 2 rounds.
which is a pretty cool thing. I know.
It is.
I know that we're watching UTVs right now, but Caleb has wrapped up his championship on his 350 four-stroke, and for fun, he's going to jump onto a 150.
But you know what? He's giving up the likelihood of breaking a record that was set by Juha Salminen of 9 wins in one season, and no other rider has done that. Caleb could have done that quite possibly, but he looking at the fun factor of it all. And I got to tip my hat to the young Caleb Russell for making that decision. 43 seconds out is when we're expecting and anticipating a checker flag, Chuck, and right now Ricky Tyree waits with bated breath.
Bated breath, and just to follow up on Caleb Russell, he is going to raffle that bike off, and the funds that he's using from that raffle go to a downed rider, Rory Mead, and also to the ISDE team. All right, we are looking at the number 8 car coming into the final turns of this race here at Powerline Park in Southern Ohio. The number 8 of Kyle Cheney, giving it everything he's got.
Through Amsoil Alley we roll, and Kyle Cheney looking to make it 3 wins in 2014 in hopes of sealing a deal on a championship coming up in a couple of weeks from now. This right here will certainly help make that all possible, as the number 8 of Pataskala, Ohio's Kyle Cheney, fist pumping from his
Chris Bithell,
as they take the big win here today.
Oh, wow, what that can do for the championship today.
No doubt about it. What
there's the number 3 car
of
Big Country Power Sports, John Yoakley.
6.3 seconds back, and guess what? William Yoakley, 11 minutes, 57-second lap time, pulled to within 4.5 seconds to finish 3rd.
Unbelievable.
One more lap, and I think
could have been a wholly different race.
Could have been a whole different race. But you know what? That is loads ahead of where he has been finishing with that 20th and that 10th. This right here has got to be a move in the right direction for the national championship program over there. Even though they are obviously looking like they're going to relinquish that national number 1, they definitely have learned a lot and rebuilt a lot here in 2014.
Absolutely. He's had a couple of tough races, but man, never leave him out of it. Coming back to our next race, Ironman. We'll look forward to see what William Yoakley has to do. But right now, looks like in just a few minutes we'll be visiting him on the podium.
Yeah, we most certainly will. Woo, man, I think the temperature just dropped another 5 or 10 degrees, man, as that sun begins to set here in the fall. Look at John Yoakley there, man. Big smiles on him. You know, that's one thing I could say about the Yoakleys. I think that's something that may be inherited, is that smile, man. I mean, they all happy people, smile a lot. Even when you think that they should be down, they got a smile on their face. I really love and enjoy being around him. His dad, great guy. His grandpa's a great guy. And obviously his uncle William's a pretty good dude as well.
Of course, they've been around this sport for a long time and have learned that if you're going to do it, have fun doing it.
Exactly. I got to think that William's probably all teeth about right now from ear to ear with a big smile. Look at that, Chris.
There's the newlyweds giving a little.
Yeah, Chris Bithell getting a smooch there from his new wife, and while they get things organized up there and get ready for podium presentations, we're going to take a quick break here on RacerTV.com and be back with more UTV and the wrap-up of this one on GNCC Live after this.
Your coolant. One of the most important things is almost always overlooked. Evans Coolant is the first coolant to be 100% waterless. What does this mean? It means a higher boiling point to keep your bike running cooler. No hot spots, corrosion, or buildup on your engine to eliminate excess wear and tear, to save you money, and to make your engine run longer at peak performance. For more information, visit our new website, evanschooling.com.
Find your flow with Maxxis Tires.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Any engine. Any season. At home. At the track. Or on the trail. AMSOIL for any engine.
And we're back here at St. Clairsville, Ohio's Powerline Park. Rodney Tumble along with Chuck LeMaster as GNCC Live brings to you the UTV round number 5 today. And as we finish this one up, Chuck, pretty amazing stuff going on there today. We saw some great rides out of both the Yoakley teams, actually. John Yoakley and William Yoakley pushing and forcing themselves up through the pack and into podium position. And by golly, I think if William Yoakley had another lap, he'd have definitely been a threat to win this one. There's no doubt about it. But congratulations to Can-Am factory team of Kyle Cheney and Cheney Racing as they just wrapped up their 3rd consecutive win here in 2014. One step closer, if not stepping on to the championship box, that's for sure. As we get set to head down to the Maxxis Victory Lane, where one Jen Kenyon stands by with some pretty excited folks. We see that she's getting things organized there, talking with Chris Bithell and Kyle Cheney right there. And Kyle's like, make sure you ask me this question. No.
Yeah, they got to prep themselves so they're not taken by surprise, right?
Yeah, they're telling Jen what questions they want to ask. Tell me to talk about how great I am. Tell me to talk about that moment when I realized how great I was to drive fast enough to win these things. Not only before, but today.
Right. 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
I mean, that's pretty dominant with this kind of competition that's out there.
I got to go back and look at some of the past results, but I don't even know that the great William Yoakley's even gotten 3 in a row, has he?
Boy,
maybe he has, but
back in the day when we were running like a 4-race series, I think he was winning them all.
Yeah.
But since the sport has progressed,
since the new era of UTV racing,
almost like
the
new age of Williams had to fight for it the last couple of years. And, and you see he's still fighting for it, but there are other contenders out there.
And what's so cool is you see him fighting for it, but you see how much alive he is, how much fight there is left in him, and not only that, the desire and the heart and the will and all that stuff that he's got, but talent. I mean, he's still ready to win races, and I have to venture to say, and we're getting ready to find out the story why he isn't in the center of the box, or why he wasn't at least there banging wheels with Kyle Cheney coming in.
What were you doing 25 seconds back when you laid down a less than 12-minute lap time, 11:57 lap on the last lap?
It's lightning.
He probably doesn't even know he did that.
No, it's lightning William Yoakley.
Yeah.
Hey, right now they are getting geared up down there on the podium. William has made his way up, and he and his wife Tina, the national championship team. John Yoakley has made his way up, and Kyle Cheney, along with Chris Bithell, has made his way up to the podium, and celebrations are about to get underway as we do a quick update. Still not checked in yet is our XC2 limited class leader, but as of last, he has. No, he hasn't. It is Sean Bogdan still. So whenever Jen is ready, we're waiting on things to get organized. Jen, you ready down there? Jenny on the spot?
Oh, yes, Rodney, I'm always ready. We're down here at the side-by-side podium. And, I was just thinking, all these folks up here, everyone up here has gotten a win this season. All 3 of them here on the podium today. Let's put our hands together for our top 3 overall finishers here on the side-by-side. We've got Cheney Racing. We have Kyle Cheney and Chris Bithell. We have Big Country Power Sports, John Yoakley and Jared McClure, and, of course, William and Tina Yoakley with the defending champs, the Polaris National Guard. We'll get things started with you guys, 3rd place here today. Tell us about your race out there.
We had a pretty good run. It's always a really fun track. I enjoy it. It's car's working awesome. I tell you what, as slick as it was, those CST tires they hooked up, and they just grip so good all day, and the Oceanmere motor ran well, and that, like I said, Walker Evans suspension, it just everything on this car just works so good every day. Every time we come to the races, it's just unfortunate sometimes things don't work out for you. And we didn't have the best first and second lap there. Got a little ways back behind some guys, and Cheney and John, both put a lot of time on us there at the beginning. And once we finally broke loose, we reeled them in. We just didn't have enough time to get up there and battle with them. But like I said, the car worked really well. We worked our way up through the pack, and I'd just like to congratulate these guys for a great run and a great season. And, it's just it's a good day. And I just got a lot of fight left in me, so I can't wait to bring it to Ironman.
Yeah, now talk about, normally you guys have a lot of dust factors out there, but today we had some rain overnight and everything. It had to have been actually probably a pretty good track for you guys.
It was a perfect track. It really was. The race and the weather was great, and the track was good. It was slick. It was just perfect for racing. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody else did too, because it felt like he was on a slot car track there. But car worked great. The Polaris just, it never ceases to amaze me what it'll do. And there's sometimes, it's hard to put your trust in it when you're just slinging it and put it out there on the edge, but it does it every time. And I just, glad to be on board with, Factory Polaris, National Guard, Coastal Racing, Walker Evans suspension, OMF wheels, tire balls, and CST tires. And there's and Beard seats. And I'd like to thank my wife for being a great co-pilot. She this is like the 1 hour every 2 weeks she does what I say.
Yeah, I was going to say, she kind of has to. Talk about putting trust in something else. I think you probably put more trust in something else than anything, because you're in the passenger seat and you can't do anything about it.
That is true, especially putting him to be the one to make the decisions. That's kind of hard, but he does really good out there. He picks the tracks, and he does really good.
Yeah, sometimes when you're stuck with a racer, someone who's got that in their blood, it's kind of hard to tell what they're going to do out there, but it seems like you must have a little bit of trust if you keep on coming back, right?
Yeah, I do. A lot.
All right, well, it looks like you guys had a fun time out there. Anybody else you guys want to thank for getting up here on the podium?
I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but I think I got it. If I did, I'm sorry. But I'd like to really thank Racer Productions for going through the effort and working hard and laying out another great track, because I know all you guys work hard, and it gives us a place to come out and do the things we do, and just like to thank the whole Racer Productions crew.
It's too bad that the guys you should be thanking and you are thanking are probably out there towing people out right now, working their butts off, and they're going to get back up in the morning and do it. So if you see those guys around, make sure you give them a big high five and a thank you, because they do a pretty awesome job. Congratulations to William and Tina Yoakley. I'm going to try to walk the tightrope here so I don't fall down. Make our way over to our second place finisher, another Yoakley, but this one's John. John, tell us about your day out there.
It was a real good day today. I was really happy to get a good start this race. It's been since Georgia since I went in the woods, but better than last off the first row, and, man, it sure helped the day. About a halfway point of the first lap, we got around Scott and kind of pulled out, and I felt comfortable in the lead, and Kyle come up on me before I ever even knew anything that happened, and he got around me, and, I just tried to stick on his bumper and maybe get around him with a lapper, hold him up or something. But Kyle run a good race, and I could definitely see William coming, so I'm glad we didn't have another lap, or it'd have been three of us battling real tight out there. But overall, it was a real good day and can't complain.
Yeah, you came out swinging. You won the season opener, and then you had a little bit of issues. I think it was it the last round that you got the DNF at?
It was the one before in West Virginia.
Yeah, so this has got to feel pretty good. You're making your way back up and getting back to your almost winning ways.
Yeah, it definitely feels good to be back up here. It's been kind of a rough season, but I can't complain so far. Kind of stuck in the top five, and that's all I want to do, and keep putting this Polaris up here every day. They do real well. The Yoshi motor pulled good today, and STI tires done awesome today. I can't complain, man.
Yeah, watching on the RacerTV.com cameras, we were watching you guys rip through there, and it looked like this track was pretty fast, and it looks like everybody was you guys were really railing the corners out there, and it looked fun.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely a fun track. Racer Productions put on a great track today, and you can't thank Barry Hawk and all the guys enough for just putting on a great track for everybody to run. You can't complain about the conditions either. The track got a little rough, but it was fast, and the car was handling it great today, so I can't complain.
What was happening over here with your co-pilot? What was he saying? Was he giving you some good tips or what?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He was giving me a few lines out there and just saying he was letting me know if there's anybody close, and he let me know Kyle was there, but he's definitely doing what he should have been doing.
Is that true? Were you doing your job, Jared?
I guess I was just holding on, hoping we didn't hit nothing. I was going to say, man, these guys, these top couple guys could really drive. And, I know how fast we go through the trees on them four-wheelers. And these things are, twice as wide, and it's just amazing seeing these cars. John drove great today, and even like getting behind Kyle and stuff, it was cool being in the battle for the lead. So you just wanted to say, congrats to these guys. I mean, I just can't believe how fast they go. So.
Yeah, I have to ask, coming from a professional ATV racer who rips through the woods, what's it like to be in the passenger seat where you're not in control of your machine, which you're used to being in control of your own machine?
I mean, there's times when you're on the edge of the seat a little, I guess, puckered up. But for the most part, I trust John. He's a pretty good driver, and he's a great driver. I mean, it shows today. I mean, just whipping through those trees. He's really good in the tight stuff. I noticed that we gained some time in the tighter stuff. So, like I said, he's a great driver, and I'm confident being in there with him. I really have no worries.
All right. Well, there's a lot of trust going on this podium right now. That's for sure. Who would you like to thank for getting up here, John?
I'd like to thank my mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa for sure, and William for helping me out so much and teach me, I guess, what I know to get up here and beat on him a little. But I'd like to thank Big Country Power Sports, Polaris, Yoshimura, Nightcrawler Customs, STI Tire, and OMF.
All right. Well, congratulations again. William, you're giving away all your secrets. You better watch out, man. All right. Congratulations. Let's give it up for John Yokley and Jared McClure. But, of course, once again, for the third round in a row and in his home state of Ohio, let's hear it for Kyle Cheney. Cheney Racing Can-Am. Kyle, 3 in a row. You're really putting it on strong here at the end of the season. What are you doing to be going so fast out there?
I have no idea. We started out the year a little rough, and we figured out some stuff, and really my mechanic for keeping my car together. And the track was fast. I got a bad start. I was 5th going into the woods. Yokley passed me right going into the woods, and then I was like, oh, this is going to be a long day. And then from the second row, Travis Pointer caught me real fast. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a real long day. But then they made a couple mistakes, and I got around them. And I thought I had the lead when I passed Scott because John was so far ahead, and we came out into the grass track the first lap, and I saw him up there. I'm like, oh, I got some work to do. Luckily, he got behind a lapper. If not, I probably had a hard time catching him. He was railing.
Yeah, so how does that work with, you only have 5 people per row, so there's a lot of different time adjustment going on. Are you guys well aware of everybody around you? Do you know kind of where everybody is on the start, or do you have other people telling you?
I mean, we have a pitboard and stuff out there, but, Chris watches and sees where people are coming up from behind us or in front of us and sees where everybody's at and kind of gives me an idea where we're at. But, I just go fast. That's all I can do.
So you're telling me that you put some of the fate of your race in the hands of Chris Bithell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he is the glue that holds this thing together.
No way.
Yeah, he does awesome. No, my Can-Am was working awesome today. We did some shock adjustment. My Fox shocks were working perfect. Yoshimura pipes sounded awesome. The ITP tires were hooking up, SSI decals. I'd like to thank my mechanic and my girlfriend and my brothers and my family and all my friends for coming out and supporting us.
Yeah, this is your hometown race for you, right?
Pretty close. Yeah, I mean, the Penton's a little closer, but they all come out to this one too.
Yeah, I forget that we have 2 in Ohio, but I always say hometown race. If you're in the state, no matter where it is, it could be on the other side, we're going to consider it your home race. So for all the friends and family here, you put in a big, awesome win for them. Congratulations once again.
Thanks.
All right, we have to hear from Chris Bithell just one time. We got to hear what was going on here in the passenger seat. What was your take on things?
I just sit there, let him do his job, but, hopefully I helped out again like I always try to. He had some awesome lines. We didn't run probably quite as much as the quad track as we usually do, so I didn't have as many lines for him as I thought I would, but he had awesome lines, and, he was on a rail, and I told him before the race, don't do anything stupid. We're in points, we got to watch what we're doing, we can't just go hammer down, and we got off to a really bad start, and like he said, I thought it was going to be a real long day, but we, just picked them off, a few at a time or, one at a time, and some real good lines, like I said, and it didn't take long till, we were sitting what we thought was first, but it ended up being second, and, we saw, John out there real far and thought, man, we'll never catch him, but, I think a lapper ended up helping us out a lot, but, Kyle, man, was just putting on a good race, and we didn't really make, knock on wood, make any mistakes, really, and the car was working awesome. There's no malfunctions with it one bit, and he just put it in there.
All right, well, you guys put in a solid day all around. Let's hear it one more time for our top 3. overall here in the XC1 modified class. I don't know what this does for the points, but it's got to be pretty good for the team Cheney Racing guys. So.
So we are definitely looking forward to what GNCC has in store in 3 weeks.
No doubt about that. And, of course, coming up tomorrow as far as GNCC is concerned, be sure to tune back in live on RacerTV.com at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, or about that time, as we will be waving the green flag on the motorcycle side of things. Now, Caleb Russell wrapped up the 2014 championship at the last round. Some neat things about that. He's going to be riding a 150cc KTM against those 450s out there. And not only that, we've got a great battle going on for our second-place position in points, where Jordan Ashburn moved into the points second-place points lead ahead of Josh Strang and also Charlie Mullins. But here's the kicker. Charlie Mullins is back. I talked to him last night. He is ready to go back to racing. He said he's been on the bike for about 3 weeks. He actually raced last weekend at a local event, and he's ready to come here to St. Clairsville, Ohio, and make things happen. So a whole new element in tomorrow's GNCC for sure.
That's right. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a barn burner, and I sure hope so, because I'm cold.
No doubt. Somebody play with some matches tonight, because we need to heat this place up. There's no doubt about it. But that's going to wrap it up for GNCC Live here today on a Saturday from St. Clairsville, Ohio. I want to say thanks to Jen Kenyon for doing such a great job all day long, as well as all of our staff out in the woods. The camera guys, man, just doing a splendid job. The guys over in the trailer, thank you again for the wonderful job that you've put forth. And thank you, Chuck LeMaster, for another great time here in UTV Racing. On behalf of Chuck, Jen, and all of us here at RacerTV.com, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Good day, everybody. Good job.